Hello and welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver.
And I'm Andrew Sabo.
And we are here this week to talk about episode 393, Wrapped Around Your Finger.
Wrapped as in W-R, not just wrapped. There's no hip-hop involved in this episode.
You didn't prepare a finger wrap for us, Andrew?
A digital flow, if you will.
Oh, man. This is an episode that originally aired on February 14th of 1998.
Oh, lovely.
That's right. They themed it.
That's so fun.
I adore that. That makes me so happy.
This episode was already 5 stars in my heart, and that makes it 6. This is the Mona Lisa of Odyssey episodes, as far as I'm concerned.
And that you can't tell whether or not it's smiling?
Yeah, or that it's real.
You don't think the Mona Lisa is real?
I'm pretty sure that one guy bought it and it burnt down, right?
And there's a Mona Lisa truther?
Yeah. All those people throwing paint on them. You wonder who sent them.
Glass Onion was a documentary?
Yes, 100%. Ryan Johnson is my favorite documentarian. That's why The Last Jedi was so interesting.
It's true. He went a long time ago to a galaxy far, far away.
And he found a casino!
It's true.
That being said,
this episode is written by Paul McCusker. It is directed by Phil Lawler. And yeah, it's a good time. There's not a whole lot. Cast-wise, everyone in this episode has been around.
Yeah.
Although I don't know that have we had this much Millie before?
Millie as in his... No!
Like, Millie Shanks is really in this episode.
Yes.
And I don't think we ever talked about it when she was... Because she was previously in The Right Choice, and I don't think we talked about it on that episode.
Mm-hmm.
But she is voiced by Pamela Hayden.
Doing an old person, which
Correct.
Is pretty good and makes sense.
I love it as a choice.
I thought it was Katie Lee.
Fair enough, but I like it that like Katrina voices her own mother, but just makes her more old and more British.
Yeah.
Like it works for me.
Well, yeah. The way that she calls her father daddy and stuff to Eugene, like, yeah, I don't know. There's definitely some, like, old British, couture.
Well, right, because they're, like, New England rich.
Oh, that's right.
Like, I mean, they're based in Chicago, but,
yeah.
like, they have that's very much how they're coded.
Mm-hmm.
Is, like, these are the people who, like, it's very, Hartford.
Yes,
in Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Like, these are the people who would be at Chilton.
Mm-hmm, that have the money.
You like that, guys? We keep working in the Gilmore Girls references. This is
Amen.
secretly, and not so secretly, a Gilmore Girls podcast.
Yeah, no, definitely hasn't been a part of it from the beginning.
Yep. I don't know what you're talking about. We said earlier that this episode came out in February. That puts it a good 5 months after when the last episode when we talked about came out.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and the episode like has established in it the idea that like some time has passed, which is fun. With all that being said, I think it may be time to roll the promo.
It's a Valentine's Day fiasco on the next Adventures in Odyssey. When Jack and Joanne throw Eugene and Katrina a Valentine's Day engagement party, everything's roses. That is, until her parents show up. It's a matter of a long-standing family tradition. Or is it? See how it turns out, all on the next Adventures in Odyssey.
Or is it?
Or is it?
I mean, it is a long-standing family tradition, whether or not there's value to that tradition.
Yeah.
Spoiler, there's not. But
there's not any monetary value, we'll say that much.
I also don't think that there is, like, good personal value to it either.
True.
In this instance.
Aside from Millie's tears, I suppose.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, this is off Days to Remember. I almost called it, and I think I actually did call it Day to Remember, the alt punk band.
Oh, yeah, Day to Remember.
Yeah, but this is Days to Remember, and this is one of the albums that I had growing up. So I listened to this album so many times, and this is, like, when Joanne in the first scene says a jade something in a chest of drawers.
Yes.
Seared in my brain. Just absolutely, like, I didn't realize that it was still there, but as soon as she said it, it was just her enunciation, the weird emphasis, like, yeah, it was like I opened up a dusty old box that had been hidden for a while.
Yeah, because we start out with Eugene having, like, linked up the antique shop to, like, the greater antiques community through the power of the internet.
A forum, presumably, or some kind of database, I guess.
Yeah, it's right. It's a database that's got, like, a bunch of appraisal stuff, but it also, like, has a chat room and some other, like, fun things, which is, I love the adorableness of the internet at this stage. There's a point at which Eugene's talking about Katrina, and she's like, oh, you really have Katrina to thank. She's the one who discovered the website on the internet. And I'm just like, the way we had to talk about things.
Yeah, for sure. Discovered the website on the internet.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, it's 1998. Like, what else are you going to do?
No, certainly. And it is truly absurd, even just how much the technology changed between, like, 1998 and, like, 2004.
Sure.
Just even as far as the internet is concerned.
Yeah. And we've got, so the Allens, that's weird. I don't think I've ever said it that way before. Jack and Joanne.
J&J.
Of J&J Antiques, now Triple J. But they have arrived from the Philippines. They just got back from the mission trip. They have, of course, acquired some antiques on that trip that they have brought back with them, which
Naturally.
I think is fun, and I dig. Their antique shop is, like, incredibly well stocked, and they, like, talk about some stuff in this episode, and I'm like, I guess this is just stock they inherited from the previous owner.
Yeah.
Because
either that or Jack has a ton of antiques that we didn't know about.
Right. Either this is personal collections, or, like, during the 2 weeks when they were planning their wedding, they were also buying all the antiques in the world.
You must have spent so much on this wedding. Actually, I spent even more on this armoire.
Yeah. Well, and who knows? Maybe Wit's contributing here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Archaeologist to antique feels like a pretty clean line.
Oh, what if he uses J&J to money launder?
Oh, he absolutely does.
All the stuff he gets from the Universal Press Foundation.
Yeah, no, he is bringing in, like, illegal artifacts into the U.S. through J&J.
And then, selling them to them.
How do you think Wit got all that money?
Laundered it. Yeah. He found it at the laundromat. That's what that means.
So they're talking about the fact that Katrina is in town visiting for the weekend, and Jack and Joanne are like, man, like, I just don't know. I think Joanne even makes the comment. Just like, I don't know how you guys are managing this with her being a student at the college and you being here in Odyssey. Like, that's a long distance to be engaged over. To which Eugene says,
you're one to talk.
Right. No, but he specifically says that, he says, well, you guys would know something about a long-distance engagement. My dude, they got engaged and they married 2 weeks later in Odyssey.
That was not a long
distance. They
distance.
didn't have a long distance. They had a long-distance relationship, but...
not engagement.
Again, Odyssey can apparently only define the relationship through an engagement.
Pretty much.
Like, they're like, the only way we know how to have the DTR is with a ring involved.
Yeah. No, it's I mean, well, it's like the only institution that they can utilize in that way.
But on that topic, Eugene still doesn't have a ring.
Yes. And Jack so happens to have a nice selection. Another line burned into my brain forever. Thank you. But yeah, so they look at the rings, and Jack pulls out. They have, like, a wide variety, and what is it? It's 10 some kind of diamond. Or no, it's
a sapphire surrounded by 10 small diamonds.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
On a gold
Eugene
band.
just like jumps to it immediately, is like, I absolutely love it. Shows no concern for the cost of the ring.
Yeah.
Maybe as a gift from Jack. We don't know. At the very least, he's getting a steep discount. Because Eugene, not made of money. But
well, and Whit bought the ring anyway, so, you know.
Whit bought...
The joke that Whit bought all of their stuff.
Oh, wow. That was a callback to, yeah, good job. Well done.
Thank you.
You're better than me. But so how do you feel about the idea of an antique ring, Andrew?
I love it. And it's because of this episode. And I realize now, having covered this episode and talking about it with you, how important this episode is to my love of antiques. Like, it's definitely not Jack and Joanne. Not that I hate Jack and Joanne by any means, but this episode specifically, with the valuation and all of that, did wonders.
Were you an Antiques Roadshow? You ever watch
Oh,
Antiques?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yard sailing, Antiques Roadshow, all of it.
Watched so much Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah.
Which is like... And then I watched the like cable TV exciting versions of Antiques Roadshow, which is like, what if we do a Pawn Stars or an American Pickers or whatever? Yeah. And it's like, it's that show, but it's entertaining. Yeah. Whereas Antiques Roadshow, not entertaining.
Very informative.
But, right.
I don't watch it for the laughs.
Yeah. But you don't watch it for the back office shenanigans like Pawn Stars, you know? You don't watch it for one of the members of the Pawn Stars going to prison.
Is that what happened?
For sure.
Oh, that's so cool. I watched so much Pawn Stars. And there was definitely a pipeline. Like, it definitely evolved from Roadshow to... Because Roadshow is on Saturdays, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, Saturdays on PBS.
In the morning, too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so it would come on right before football. So I would watch that, and then I would watch the noon kickoff.
My dad's a big fan of old stuff. So
yeah. No, you have a lot of antiques in your parents' house.
Really inherited that. But antiques sounds so sophisticated as opposed to what it really is, which is just like stuff from the past.
Yeah.
Like antiques makes it sound like you're going out and you're buying stuff because it has value. Versus just like liking the look of old things.
Yeah, that's more so where I'm at, definitely.
Yeah, and it just, I mean, all of those things. The antiques, the garage sales, the thrifting, the discount grocer, like all of that ticks the same box in my brain, and I do love it.
Yeah, no, it is truly a rush.
Even a Marshall's can kind of stoke that.
Bro, Marshall's is great. Do not be slandering Marshall's. That is the only place that you can get Calvin Klein underwear for less than retail price.
Yeah, but sure, it's true. But like, why would you want that?
Because that's the underwear I wear.
Yeah. Wow, you just
doxed myself live on the pod.
All right, folks, now you know. Now you can write all your Andrew fanfic and include the underwear type.
Yep. I'm a briefs man, in case you were wondering.
And if he ever gets sent into the past, we all know what his mom will call him now.
Calvin! That was great. I'm really pleased that, one, you pulled that out, and two, I got it.
I am also pleased about those two things.
It's only because I watched the movie recently.
Nice. So yeah, I also have that thing though of like, I have always liked the idea of like I've liked the idea of like an antique ring or like a family ring or something over like hey, let's go get something brand spanking new from the
K Jewelers or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that has always been a thing I've enjoyed. And I don't know whether or not that thought was developed independently from this episode.
Definitely wasn't for me.
I don't know this episode as well as you do, but
no, this was.
There's a chance that this is because I had the same thought when I was listening to it. Where I was like, oh, is this why I like antique rings, like as a wedding ring concept? Like,
it definitely is for me.
Yeah.
Well, they do a really good job selling them in this episode. Like this, obviously Jack and Joanne are very pro-antique, but I would say Odyssey as a whole is very pro-antique ring. I just appreciate the additional sentimental value of it, where it's like you can go to a jeweler and get something really nice, really new, but all that is a nice new thing, as opposed to you can get a nice old thing that has 3,200 years of, family sentimentality and stuff like that.
Yeah, you've got history, and it's got to be, it still has to look good, like it.
Well, and even if it's not your family's, like the idea of somebody passing away and like their legacy living on in somebody else's wedding ring is like kind of beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And it feels more sustainable than just, constantly making new rings.
Yeah, definitely easier on the old natural resources.
Yeah. And, if you wind up with a blood diamond, how are you to know? It was old.
It was very, very old.
The blood has long since dried.
Yeah. It's chipped off. It's basically... There's no way of knowing.
So... Jeez. So, yeah, then Joanne throws out this idea that... Yeah, actually, before that, I love how quickly Eugene lands on the ring. Like, he sees it, and he's so confident about it, and so excited about it, and is like that, like, Katrina is going to love this. I just like that. Yeah, that's a very nice moment. And then it's followed by, Joanne being like, well, we should have an engagement party. Like,
that's what
Valentine's
you guys are
Day
missing.
is this weekend. Like, you guys are missing this. And it's funny knowing this episode comes out on Valentine's Day. It makes so much more sense why they hit Valentine's Day so hard
despite
so many
it not
times.
being a major part of the episode.
Correct.
Like, it wasn't a Valentine's Day episode.
Right.
It was a romantic episode.
Yeah.
That happened on Valentine's Day canonically.
Yes.
Canonically.
Canonically.
Can't-onically.
I can't honestly. And so, it's... Yeah. Anyways, Joanne's like, let's do an engagement party.
Yeah.
We jump to Wit's End, wherein is Eugene already here at the beginning? Yeah, he is.
Yes.
And so it's Bernard and Tom and Whit and Connie and Eugene. And they're talking about his relationship. And Connie is very, like, pro Eugene and Katrina. Bernard and Tom are weirdly on the fence.
Yeah.
Like, in just a way where it's like, the episode's like, haha, isn't this funny? And I'm like, no, it kind of sucks.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, this is a major decision.
Bernard is doing it, like, a little bit tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
But, like, not... Like, I would like them to telegraph it harder that this isn't actually their feelings, because it is, like, a bizarre thing.
And very serious. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because, they're talking about... because they're talking about, like, how do Armitage and Millie feel about it, and then how did they... Like, how does everyone here feel? And Bernard and Tom, in a way that doesn't feel like they're ribbing Eugene, but feels like they actually don't think this is good.
Yeah. They're
Are
like, it's fine.
I don't know if we're cool with it. I didn't think you'd find anyone human,
Yeah, yeah.
It's like Bernard does better because he's a funnier character, but Tom being on the fence is weird.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. But yeah, Tom kind of brings up the fact that the distance has got to be tough, and that that's not a good foundation to build a relationship on. And Connie sees a window here to pile on Eugene about something else, which point she points out that they do not hold hands or kiss. And she sees this as a problem, and Eugene's like, well, we've never been one for, like, public displays of affection.
Which, fair.
Yes.
Plenty of people are like that. I am not one of them.
Oh, I know. The things I have seen, Chalk Squad.
Oh, remember that time when I just... now I'm actually concerned as what you have seen. I don't think I've done anything too nefarious in your presence.
I don't know. Dungeons and Dragons got a little spicy a couple times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay.
It was very early on in your relationship.
Yeah, I was also 18, so...
Read into that whatever you want, Chalk Squad.
Yeah, I was either way too young or way too old. Jury's still out, but regardless, it wasn't acceptable.
We've never talked about that. That one's just for the mics. So, dang it.
Oh, man.
You had to ask.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, and then so there's this kind of back and forth, and I get both sides. I think that I think there's nothing wrong with being somewhat affectionate. I think that there are lines that should be drawn.
Yeah, for sure. I am not sticking my tongue down anybody's throat for a prolonged period of time in public.
Thanks for saying that as graphically as possible, Andrew.
I am not. Yeah, I would say that, like, as somebody that is perfectly fine with PDA and isn't made uncomfortable by it, like, there are still definite like societal norms that you just don't want to cross. And like, we've all been around those people that just are macking in full public view. It's just weird. You're like, yep. I mean, I'm glad that they're having a good time, but it feels very strange and out of place.
Yeah. I'm kind of like, if you're outside, like if you're in the view of other people, you get like 5 seconds max where your lips are touching.
Yeah. You can be passionate. You can give a little sexy kiss, but you do not get more than 5 seconds. Like, it's... Yeah.
I hold a time. I've got a stopwatch in my pocket just for this reason. Anytime I see people kissing, I'm like,
all right.
And your time's up.
I actually got an Apple Watch. I just reach around the corner and do it like this.
I was timing other people. You were timing yourself.
Yes, yeah. No, this is accountability, my friend. You think I'm going to stop kissing after 5 seconds without a timer?
No, I do not.
No, exactly.
so then Katrina, so Connie brings up this idea that like a kiss hello would be appropriate, and Katrina walks in and.
No, Eugene walks in, right?
No, Katrina walks in.
Oh, Katrina.
And Connie's like, hey, see what I mean? And they just like say hi or whatever. And Connie's like, see what I mean?
Yeah. And Eugene's, of course, like, did I do something? Did I grow a third nostril? I have used that so many times in my life.
Oh, you're right. This entire scene is with Katrina.
And then Eugene comes in.
And then Eugene walks in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what
Everything I said about Eugene was actually about Katrina. And that's why the Bernard and Tom stuff plays a little bit better, is because they're not making fun of Eugene to his face in the same way.
Yeah.
Boy, I could stand to take better notes. He says nearly 5 years in.
Yeah. I've been saying that for years about myself.
So yeah, everything I just said about Eugene is actually true about Katrina, because Eugene walks in, right, and they're looking at him. Katrina's makes the comment, or Connie makes the comment about like, see what I'm talking about? She's like, what? Did I grow a third nostril? And they're going back and forth, and then Katrina's like, well, no, Connie thinks a kiss hello would be appropriate, and Eugene goes, Connie wants me to kiss her hello?
Yeah. And then
like, no. Yeah. And then she's like, she wants you to kiss her hello.
Yes. Now's the time. The soft launch, the Connie Katrina arc.
The Connie. Look, Will Ryan's dead.
For sure.
Katrina's got a rebound with someone.
Connie is famously single. Listen, I would love to live in a world where it comes out that Connie's just been a butch lesbian this whole time.
Connie is not butch.
No, definitely femme.
But yes, maybe Connie's relationships never work out because she's looking at men.
Yes.
Write that fanfic, folks.
There's a lot of queer Odyssey fanfic that I've found on the internet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it wasn't on Wattpad. I had to go to Archive of Our Own, but boy did I find it.
Oh, I love AO3.
Yeah. And the first time I was ever on it, so it was definitely cool and strange, but I did not see any Connie Katrina. I saw a lot of Eugene Jason, like so much. Eugene Richard Maxwell.
Sure, why not? Did you happen to find any Edwin Shakespeare?
No, I didn't. I didn't look that hard though, and that's promising though. I think that could exist. I feel like somebody must have thought it. Or Edwin Regis.
No,
that's
Andrew.
incest.
No, absolutely not.
We don't know for a fact no, we don't.
They're twins.
Yes. Voiced by the same guy. Makes it even worse. I don't know what kind of mental illness that is, but it is something.
Anyways, but then, so, after Katrina explains that no, it's not that Connie wants to kiss Katrina, Eugene goes, we should all kiss hello.
Yeah.
One big sloppy smooch fest.
And that was when my personality was born. There's that line.
I just can't believe Paul put that in an episode.
Oh, yeah, it is.
One big sloppy smooch fest between all of our main, like, Odyssey characters who happen to be in the room right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
well,
yeah.
It's, I would say the highlight or the high point of the show as far as their willingness to do stuff outside the box.
This whole exchange here just made me think of a peak, like, pandemic era tweet from user Shockproof Beats, who said, when this is all over, I am going to French kiss every one of my friends for 45 minutes each.
Amen.
One big sloppy smooch fest.
Yeah, 45 minutes each.
But moving past
that is hilarious.
All the kissing commentary. We've got a Eugene then announces that they are all invited to the engagement party, which Katrina is so excited about. Mm-hmm. And he brings up that there is going to be
a surprise.
Correct. And she's just ecstatic.
And she smooches him. She gives him a really loud smooch. Mm-hmm. Which I felt so much shame for how familiar I am with this episode and knowing that it happens and knowing this joke, and for all those years being like, they don't kiss on Odyssey. They never kiss on Odyssey.
Yeah, well, I think yeah, we've talked many times about Eugene and Katrina kissing on Odyssey now. But yeah,
shame.
Not
but
kissing
really
before
sweet.
Engagement, but kissing before marriage.
Definitely kissing before marriage.
Although,
tongue, though.
Well, and we also don't know if this is a lip-to-lip kiss.
Could have been a cheek or a forehead.
I think cheek is maybe implied.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you know what? I agree. It does sound like a cheek kiss. It's too
it's not wet enough.
Yeah, it's not sloppy or wet enough.
But was it unforeseen, Andrew?
Definitely for Eugene it was. I don't think he saw it coming.
So we then jump to the engagement party itself. Jack is given is it Jack or Joanne? Once again,
Jack.
My notes are failing me. Jack's given a toast and is just, and kind of gives Eugene, is like, all right, Eugene, you can come on up and say your bit. And before he does, Armitage steps in the way and he, just, throws his support behind Eugene in like the most, like, just half-assed way possible.
Yeah, no,
where
like...
He's like, Katrina, or Eugene did a very good job picking out our daughter, and, Katrina loves this guy.
Yep. That's couldn't have put it better. That's exactly the vibe of what he says.
And so they're very supportive, but he's also like, but Eugene has clearly dropped the ball and hasn't even given our daughter a ring, which is why I'm excited to like bring in our family tradition. This ring from Katrina's great grandmother, Porcelain.
Lovely. That's a real name for sure.
Well, but you get the joke.
No?
Because Armitage Shanks is a toilet brand.
Oh, Porcelain. I get it. That's actually fantastic.
I agree.
Huh. Wow. That's... See, this is why we do this show. Because I've listened to this episode countless times. And had we not come back and relearned that Armitage Shanks was named after a toilet company...
Yep. But also, right, you wouldn't have necessarily... Like, if you've heard it enough, that name just kind of becomes meaningless.
Yeah.
It's just like, of course her grandma's name is Porcelain. But if you're listening through it for the first time, or, I mean, not for my first time, but, like, without all that, I hear Porcelain Shanks, and I'm like, well, that's a joke.
Yeah. No, that's definitely... man. Love to see it.
And Eugene is just... shocked. Like you can see it's a huge ring. It's a beautiful ring.
Yeah.
Like Katrina is very excited and touched by it in just a genuine way, which I love. And you can see like the dolly zoom on Eugene's face as like everything is just deflated.
Yeah.
And he's got to figure out what to do.
I will say the Armitage does kind of throw a subtle jab at Eugene because he says like, oh, and Eugene never got her a ring.
Correct.
And so,
it's not a subtle jab.
No.
This man does not know subtlety.
No. He throws a quick jab, I'll say that much.
There you go. It is rather quick. So yeah, kind of we go up post the party and Eugene is talking with Jack.
Yeah, because Jack comes and finds Eugene because he ducked away after the giant ring, and Jack's like, because Jack obviously sold Eugene the ring, he knows what Eugene's going through.
Yep, and he's like, yeah, he's like, I assume that blindsided you, whatever, and they have that conversation. And Eugene's like, I guess I'll be returning this, and Jack's like, no, don't return it. Like, it's definitely you couldn't give it after Armitage gave his. Do not go out there and present it to her during the party. Like, don't make this like a weird, but Jack's thing is just like, oh yeah, that was must have been awkward, but like, it's not gonna, like, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, of course. Like, you're gonna like, yeah, go find Katrina afterwards. Like, when things have settled down,
ring. Yeah.
Give her her wedding ring. Like, you're not in some competition with her father. Like, he's like, go to her, explain what happened, and you guys will have a laugh about it, and she'll love the ring.
Yeah.
Like, I love, especially for as rough as their relationship has been at times, and as sitcom-y as Odyssey can be, I love that the advice here from Jack is just communicate.
It's just good advice.
And then Eugene turns around and just communicates.
Yeah.
Like,
growth.
Truly, the thing that I love most about this episode is the maturity of both Eugene and Katrina.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
In everything they handle themselves so well, and it's refreshing after the ups and downs of their relationship. And like, I love that, right, Eugene's not trying to hide it because there's nothing to hide.
Yeah.
Like, this is not, it's not an awkward situation. Eugene did nothing wrong, and Katrina's not upset with him because she is also like, well, yeah, Dad just got in the way.
Yeah.
Like, so he winds up finding her,
giving her the ring,
her afterwards, and she just immediately
is
overjoyed.
Yeah. She's like, oh, Eugene, I love it. It's perfect. Like, and it's so cute because it's basically the same reaction that Eugene had when he first saw it. He was like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. It's so understated. I have got to have this one. Yeah.
And it comes, but I love the genuineness of, she is excited about the ring from her father, and then is more excited about the one from Eugene.
Exactly.
Rather than like not liking one And then like it be like there's so many ways that this could be played in a more sitcom-y manner.
Yeah, the sitcom
where she's like, "Oh yeah, I never actually liked that ring. Thanks for saving me from it," or whatever. But she's just like, "No, look, that was a great ring, and I would have gladly worn it. But this one is more meaningful and like fits me better personally." And she's like, "You even sized it, for me, Like it's just." So nice. She's like, and Eugene's like, yeah, but the other one is so like big and opulent. She's like, forget about that one. I'll wear it on my other hand. Like it doesn't matter. This is the ring my husband gave me, or like my fiance gave me.
Yeah,
like this is the one.
Are you my fiance? Like, do you want to marry me? She says that, and he's like, yes, of course. And that's where it's like, well, yeah, I'm gonna wear the ring that you gave me, not the one that my dad gave me.
Yeah, and she's excited by it, and she also is coming at it from like my parents didn't realize that Eugene had this.
They'll understand.
They thought they were doing a nice thing.
Yeah.
And like they will totally get it. And so they're like, well, great, we're gonna go tell my parents like how exciting it is. Like I got an engagement ring from my fiance. Like this is amazing. Like I love this. And and so they go up there, and Armitage is like, excuse me, you want to wear like that trinket rather than like our priceless family heirloom? Like I cannot believe that you would do this, like and Millie's upset by it, and it's just like it's a rough scene of just like and it's extra rough because while it is like heightened, this is also real in a way.
Yeah.
Where it's like the parent who like inserts themselves into the wedding of their children to an extent that is a problem.
Yes. Such a real thing.
Like
No, it's
we've all been to those weddings.
Yeah. Well, and of course Eugene and Katrina look so mature because their parents are acting like children. Like and in the way that weddings often bring out that in people, where it's a lot of what was your upbringing with weddings like? What are your expectations for weddings? How does that change the outcome? What are the resources available now comparatively to then? Like it's
And I love the maturity of the episode to not play the like Christian wedding versus worldly wedding card.
Oh, yeah.
Like they don't lean into that side of it at all. There is no spirituality in this episode.
Nope, not at all.
It is just a non-factor. But like the idea that, because there is a take on this episode that is like, Armitage and Millie are focused on superficial things, whereas like Eugene and Katrina are focused on like real stuff, the stuff of the heart and whatever. And then you do the step to be like, and that's because these people don't go to church and Eugene and Katrina do.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't take that extra step, and I respect them for it.
Yeah, for once.
Like that feels like that was maybe in a draft of the script, and then they just ran out of time.
Yeah. Like maybe they recorded it and just cut it for airtime.
Yeah, like it's just it doesn't matter. And I appreciate that is not the line they're trying to strike here.
Yeah.
And so they the next day Eugene's back at wit's end, and all the people are around, and he's explaining the story about
the rings,
about the ring, and everyone is so surprised. Like everyone keeps being surprised that Eugene got her a ring.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, you thought of that yourself? That's so considerate. And I'm like, and Eugene even says it, where he's like, I'm aware of the customs.
Yeah, it's not...
Like, she proposed to me after mouth surgery. And that's how we got engaged.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't a ring because it wasn't planned. We weren't dating.
Yeah.
Like, I know what I'm doing.
Well, at the very least, I know enough to freaking get my wife a ring.
Right. Yep. But it's just funny that everyone seems so completely baffled by the fact that like he actually knows what he's doing here. And yeah, there's a conversation because between Eugene and Katrina where she's just talking about the fact that that she fought late into the night with her parents.
Yeah, she didn't sleep hardly at all.
Yep. And Eugene's like, I was also thinking about this all night. And like, I think the only thing that makes sense is for me to return the ring I bought.
In the name of family peace is what he says.
Correct. He's just like, this ring was supposed to be a symbol of unity. If it's a thing that separates me from your family, then like that is
screw that.
Right. There's not, this object is not worth more than a relationship. And Katrina's like, do you really want that? And he's like, no. But I think it's the right decision. Yeah. Like, if they're not able to be the bigger people, then we have to. And it's more important that we stay together than that we, like, divide over something like this.
Well, and also, like, that they're doing the right thing, not the thing that they want to do or the thing that's easy. I think is a nice little highlight there. Yeah,
I just really appreciate this mentality.
No, for sure.
Because it's such an example of, the way, like, I want to live.
Well, and especially when people are behaving immaturely, especially when it comes to romance and relationships and especially marriage and all of the stuff that goes along with that. Like, unfortunately, there's a lot of times where whether it's the parents have to be the mature ones for their adult children or the adult children have to be the mature ones for their adult parents, one of the two parties ends up really regressing in that time period.
Yeah. I think just the idea that like, oh, like, even though this is dumb and we don't agree with the decision, it's still worth doing. I think is like something that doesn't get a lot of airtime.
Yeah.
Just in the world. Like, I think that idea of, like, well, yeah, obviously, like, her parents are in the wrong. But that doesn't mean it's not worth going along with their wishes in this instance.
Yeah, exactly. Well, pick your battles and know what's worth it and what's not. And, like, you cannot control other people. And Armitage has made it abundantly clear that he is nobody's, he's nobody's servant. He is his own master.
Yeah, and just that idea that, like, and all, just like the recognizing the emotions that are going to come from, if like Katrina's parents no longer talk to her and she has a physical reminder on her body at all times, saying that's gonna suck.
Yeah, that's not good.
Like,
that does not bode well for
way
holidays.
Better to have a reminder where you're like, I don't like this ring as much, but it reminds me of my family, and it reminds me of, like, something my husband and I overcame together.
Yeah, it reminds me that I love my husband more than I love rings,
right.
Which is so cool.
Yeah, I love that.
So Eugene and Katrina go to Jack and Joanne's to return the ring, and Katrina's parents come in. This is Eugene has a conversation with Jack about the ring, and they're just kind of having questions about it. It's been brought up multiple times that this is a really nice ring. It's
correct.
It's a Roosevelt, I think is what they say.
It's not Roosevelt, but it is another name that is notable.
Rothschild.
There it is. Well done. Good pull.
Thanks. Listen to it enough times before bed, it sinks into your subconscious.
But yeah, the ring has been talked up a lot, and Jack's been doing some independent research and is now like, can I see the ring?
Yeah.
So he's taking a look at it. Meanwhile, Armitage marches in. And yeah, Eugene just kind of expresses his thing where he's like, I don't see, like, we're gonna return this one. We're going to use we're gonna wear yours. Because I don't think that, like, this object should get in the way of our relationship. And then he kind of is like, don't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
And Armitage is like, well, yeah, but like Millie's beside herself.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yes, I agree. But Millie's beside herself, and also,
and
also yours looks like shit.
right. Well, and also just like this one has so much more value.
Yeah.
Like, don't you want the one that is more valuable?
It's bigger, it's shinier, it's prettier, it's older,
and it has more monetary worth. And that's when Jack, chimes in.
And he's like, actually.
And is like, have you ever actually had this thing appraised? He's like, no, it's been in the family forever. We just we
believed our family.
Right. And he's like, well, I am an antique dealer, and I did take a look at this. And it turns out it is costume jewelry. It is not an actual valuable ring. It's just a very nice fake.
Yeah.
It is. He's like, I'd give you about $100 for it.
Generously.
Like, he's like, it's got some value as just kind of a curiosity.
Yeah,
because it's old.
Mm-hmm.
It's an old fake ring, which is cool in its own way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I kind of love that.
Yeah.
If it was gonna hold up well, that would be a beautiful move. But yeah.
And Armitage has an aneurysm because he thought it was worth money. He didn't
Correct.
care about the family sentimentality. He just thought it was worth money.
Yes, and then Eugene mentions, and then Jack drops that Eugene's is worth 20 times that.
Yeah.
Did Eugene spend $2,000 on a ring?
I'm gonna guess 1,500 friends and family discount. I'm gonna guess, or maybe the ring wasn't worth that much, and Jack's just talking it up.
Well, but no, but Jack underlines that he has to.
Yeah.
He's like, this is I legally have to be.
Mm-hmm.
I have because
Joanne says that he's not allowed to give a dishonest appraisal.
Correct. Because Armitage is kind of like, you're just doing this because he's your friend.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, this is a legal appraisal. I could lose my license or whatever.
Yeah.
This is,
the law of antiques. Son.
Correct. and yeah, Andrew, how much are you spending on a ring?
Not $2,000, I'll tell you that much. Sorry.
Anybody who's listening, hoping to get engaged to Andrew, I am sorry to break it to you. You will not get $2,000 worth of ring.
Yeah. You're lucky if you get half that. If I spend $1,000 on a ring, that's wow, cool.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I guess it depends on how much money I have at the time that I'm,
sure.
In looking to get engaged and everything. But that being said, I've always been more of understated rings are prettier or yeah. Yep. Just not a big flash guy. I would rather get something that's got smaller diamonds that's a prettier ring in general than let me just get the biggest rock I can.
Sure.
So
yeah, and I'm a guy I am
love an antique ring though.
Sure, I'm meaning matters so much more to me than the than the look of the ring. I'm it's got to look nice, but at a certain point they all do.
Yeah, no, at a certain point, they're all super expensive rings.
So I'm just I love an object with a story.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite thing.
It's got to fit the person.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
That's
for sure. And
thing.
yes, and here's the thing. End of the day, I'm probably not I'm not going to be the deciding vote.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no.
I love that Eugene was able to pick one and just absolutely
and knew her
nail
size.
And I hope to be able to succeed to this degree, but not there currently. Yeah, but then this is where Armitage does his villain monologue, and it reveals the fact that he never actually liked the look of the ring. He just liked it because it was worth.
Yeah, he
something.
thought it was worth a lot of money. It was a status symbol.
Yeah.
Nope.
And then he, they're like, oh, but is mom gonna be okay with us not? So Eugene's like, so then we don't have to wear it. And he's like, no, use the one that's more valuable. And she's like, well, won't mom cry the whole way home? He's like, I'm gonna be crying the whole way home.
Yeah, which is great. It was a funny line.
Yep.
And this is when once they leave, Jack and Joanne press Eugene and Katrina about when they're gonna get married and, like, shoehorn a conversation about elopement into the last minute of this episode.
In kind of an incredible way, right?
Yeah. I mean, did they plan that they were gonna get eloped?
I don't think
There's
so.
no
but
way.
It's such a cute note to end on.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Because, so they were like, oh, we could all, if this is what went on, maybe can you imagine what a wedding would be like? We could always elope. And Jack and Joanne are like, but you wouldn't. You couldn't do that to us. Like, you wouldn't, would you? And they're just kind of like,
they don't say anything. And then Jack's like, stop smiling.
And that's what we go out on. And it's beautiful.
It's freaking perfect.
I love it. Being able to hear their non-response. It's played so perfectly.
So good.
It sounds great. And, we get the
unintentional tie-in.
Right, because, they wind up eloping.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
And the irony that they're literally they're driving away from Eugene and Katrina, and they go to them to get married, and... Yeah. And, I mean...
Wait, they're driving away from... Oh, you're saying Armitage and Millie are driving away. And then, they do wind up getting married at... They elope at Armitage's, bedside.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is really our last Eugene and Katrina episode of this era. Mm-hmm. Katrina appears, voiced by Pamela Hayden, in 3 more episodes. Mm-hmm. And then, obviously, we get the shoehorned in audio for the Novacom
proposal,
when they actually do that bedside wedding and whatnot. We hear all of that through clever edits and flashbacks and whatever. Mm-hmm. But this is because at that point, so Pamela Hayden, this episode, like we said, is February of 98. Mm-hmm. Pamela Hayden continues to play Katrina until fall of 98.
Okay.
And then winds up staying on the show until spring of 2000.
Okay.
But just never plays Katrina again. She has a couple additional appearances as Doris.
Okay.
Including Sticks and Stones, the split episode that we covered last year that never actually got a proper release, is her final appearance. And that's playing Doris. And then Will Ryan leaves very shortly after her in 2000 and doesn't wind up returning to the show until 2005. And when he comes back, Katrina's been recast.
Yep.
So this is really the end of the two of them.
Yeah. Well, at least as we've covered it for all these, episodes now.
We have basically covered every of the original Eugene and Katrina episodes. Yeah. There are a couple episodes that they're both in. I think there's there's maybe a Holstein's Books episode that we didn't talk about that's got Katrina in it.
Yeah.
There's stuff that there's the 4 episodes that happen, or I think Katrina's in 3 episodes after this. That's a one-off, and then she's in parts 2 and 3 of Malachi's Message.
Okay.
But she's not. Yeah, this is really the capper on them. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a really lovely note to end on, especially because, we started this show talking about Novacom and the two of them in that, and we get to close out the mega arc that we've been covering for the entire year up until this point.
Yeah, wow. That is impressive. I mean, it's a lot of episodes.
Yep, except for 1 week where we covered a Valentine's Day episode on Valentine's Day.
Perfect.
That's right. The only thing we did differently this year still ties in.
Dylan, you are a mastermind of luck and intentionality.
Amen.
That was truly stellar. No, I mean, it's beautiful. And to come to the end, I didn't realize that the last episode of this arc was going to be one that I have so much affinity for. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I feel like this is one of the strongest episodes of Odyssey in my mind. I just think it's really funny. It's fun. Obviously, I have a lot of personal connection to it. I like the symmetry of the computer program being used in the beginning and then coming back in the end, and all of the stuff with the ring. And like you said, the juxtaposition of Eugene and Katrina kind of being their best selves against their parents is, I don't know. As a kid, it always spoke really, closely to me, I guess.
Yeah, it's so nice to have an episode that centers on the two of them, following the three-parter of For Whom the Wedding Bells Toll, which like had a lot of them in it, but like was doing other stuff.
It was not about them.
love that this episode is just about them. This is also the album release of this episode is 27 minutes, which might be the longest episode that only has an A plot. There's no B or C plot in this episode.
No, there is not.
It is one story the whole way through.
It's a good story.
Yeah, it works. This episode doesn't tick, I think is a lovely capper to their story. I like what it's doing in relation to what we've been talking about. It's no For Whom the Wedding Bells Toll Part 2.
No.
Or even Part 3. Like, I think I like both of those better than this.
Yeah.
But I like it. And I have so enjoyed doing Eugene and Katrina.
Yeah, it's been so good. I mean,
like, and obviously Search for Wit and the other stuff that Eugene and Bernard road trip, like the other stuff we folded into this arc. But their stuff has been, I think, throughout it, the stuff that I have enjoyed the most.
Oh yeah, no. Well, and it's such a strange thing because Odyssey doesn't do relationships well, except for this one.
I think they do Connie and Mitch well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like
that's
they do a good job with their long-term relationships. And yeah, it was fun to cover this, which I do really feel like is kind of the sea change era of Odyssey. This is when it develops from the show about wit that is so like kind of formulaic into a show about the town of Odyssey that is less about kids and more about just like this world and these characters.
Yeah.
And that like kind of continues through more or less until through the end of album 50. And is just like that's what I love about this show.
Yeah, no, they really hit their stride around these. And
Eugene and Katrina are just such a key part of that because it's threaded in the whole way. I mean, we go from, like, it's crazy. Like, they are introduced in an episode with Hal Smith.
Yeah.
Like, is where Katrina shows up for the first time. And then we go through to them getting engaged with Herlinger there. And then they get married after Will Ryan has left. And then he comes back and there's a new Katrina and they finish out the run with Herlinger and they go into the Stoka years.
Yeah.
And now who knows what happens post Will Ryan, but it's just such a great thread that I think the show really nails this relationship through its ups and downs and comedic hijinks and all of the stuff.
Yeah.
Lands it in a place where I'm like, man, these are two people who love each other.
Yeah.
And what an absurd thing to have a kids show episode about an engagement ring. But an episode that you loved.
Yeah,
like an episode that I enjoyed.
That
like,
works.
Like
I understood it as a kid. Yeah.
Like that's I think we've talked about it a million times, but just doing a show that is appropriate for kids but not pandering to them is one of like the secret brilliances of Odyssey.
It's not always there, but definitely is there sometimes.
Correct.
And,
but like
boy, when they can really get a good groove, it's they can do some really special stuff with it. And I think that this arc is, I mean, it was like all of the episodes that we wanted to cover, basically, or most of them that spanned this area of the show.
Finished the big ones.
Yeah. Well, we got For Whom the Wedding Bells Toll was from the beginning. We talked about that one.
Sure.
Search for Wit also goes way back.
I was gonna say Search for Wit was huge to get to talk about.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about the Bernard and Eugene road trip before covering it. Like, those are huge pieces of the show. And it's fun to get to put a cap on them.
Yeah, it really is. Oh, feels good. Dylan, what do you have to promote this week?
I don't know. I feel like just kind of riding the high of the episode into the end.
Plugs.
Okay.
No plugs.
We're going plugless this episode, folks. The plugs are out. So we obviously we wrapped up an arc. We're headed into the season where we typically do a bunch of guest episodes. But first, guys, we're doing a Dylan's Choice next week.
Darn right we are.
So yeah, I am hyped. This is on that list that we just referred to of episodes that I have wanted to talk about since day one. This is maybe the episode I have heard the most.
Really?
There is a decent chance that is true. We can get into it next week.
Look forward to it.
So we will be back in a week to talk about episode 548. Sounds like a mystery.
Bye, guys.
And in other news, the Statue of Liberty comes to Odyssey. I'm Link Wainwright.
Is that from that episode?
100%, dude. I get to break out my Link Wainwright next week.
I'm so excited for you. I'm so hungry. Can we pick a time to record next so I can